everyone. I don't know why this is
Oh,
happening. It's just a trick of the light, I suppose.
oh, you should do it always. I'm really jealous. Phenomenal. It's that. Where are you in San Juan Islands?
Yeah.
It's that Pacific Northwest sun, I think.
Yeah, we're like in opposite corners of the continent, right? Like you're kind of up in the extreme northeast and I'm in the extreme northwest.
Yeah, exactly. I guess we should maybe set the bearings here, like catch everybody up on who we are for a moment and where we are. That's probably a good place to start. What do you think?
Yeah, that sounds good because we literally started doing this with no plan at all. We're like, I don't know, let's just see what happens.
I know, which is
So,
which is the way it should. I mean, we've known each other. We've never actually spoken until yesterday, but we've known each other and chatted with each other online for many, many moons. I mean, a
yes.
decade or more
Yeah, a
possibly.
long time. I'm Libby Grant.
And I'm Boo Walker.
Ta-da! And we're both authors of historical fiction and some other stuff, and we've been at the same press for a long time. We have the same agent now, so we're associates, one might say.
That's right. And I do, I mean, no offense to your name, but I feel like just Libby Grant kind of like doesn't capture everything that you are because you have so many pen names. I mean, I didn't even know what to call you years ago when I started reading your incredible craft book on outlining, Take Off Your Pants,
Oh,
because
thank
that's
you.
under Olivia Hawker.
No, that one's under Libby Hawker, but yeah, I also my most popular pen name is Olivia Hawker. That's the one. Like if anybody knows me at all, that's what they know.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
whatever.
you were like, you've got your fingers all over the place in every pie. And it's got, like, how many books have you written?
I'm working on my 47th right now. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
I've done a
yeah.
few.
So, but okay. So that's amazing. So I mean, I'll introduce myself in a second, but I think this is important. So, uh, I was, I was talking to our mutual agent now, Danielle Marshall, who used to be our acquiring editor at Lake Union.
Yeah.
And I was telling her that I just, like in the past, I don't know, this was probably 6 months ago. I was telling her that I felt this like renewed to drive to write like 2 or 3 books a year because I've done it every once in a while. And I was like, I just feel like grinding for a little while. Like I just feel it in my bones. I'm ready. And I was like, I'm inspired, especially when I see Libby. It seems like she can just spit out like 5 books without even trying. She outlines it and then she's like, oh, I just shoot out a first draft in like 3 weeks. And Danielle was like, I just wouldn't even compare myself to Libby and I wouldn't even get in her ballpark because she's special. I was like, okay. And I was like,
What
maybe that's true. Maybe that's true. I need to stay away from that.
what Danielle is too polite to say, but knows because I've told her is Libby has bipolar disorder and sometimes she's in a manic phase. And she can write books real fast when she's like that.
Oh well, what a gift that is. I
Yes.
mean, I'm like in the exact opposite space right now. I mean, I've really grinded hard since November or something, and I wrote 2 books, a craft book and a book set in Maine, and I've like have zero interest in writing right now. I don't even want to send a newsletter. Like this is what I want to do right now as far as marketing my book and talking books is do some live stuff. But I
Yeah.
like do not want to extend my phalanges over the type of the keyboard and move right now for some reason. And I'm
Yeah.
instead of like beating myself up over it, I'm just being cool. But I don't think you know what that feels like. Like I don't think you have a winter season in your writing.
I would love to. I would love to. But since I pay all my bills from this and I'm kind of, I'm at the moment still the primary breadwinner. I see a bunch of people who have jumped on my live streams before, so they know I've got this ongoing saga where my husband is like in the process of getting this really cool government job that he loves, but it's a government job, so it takes forever to get. So once he finally like closes the deal on that, which just, depends on the agency that's hiring to finally get their ducks in a row and do it, then he will actually be out earning me for the first time. And I will be able to take it easy and I won't have to write like 5 books a year to survive. So I'm really looking forward to that. It's
Well,
coming soon.
I would be so curious. So I just wrote an essay on how Stephen Pressfield ruined my life, and it was basically the idea that like I read that book, the War of Art, and I
Yeah.
just trained myself to get my butt in the chair and move my fingers every day.
Yep.
And the concept of the essay was that I'm unable to do that now. So I would be curious, like even when I'm finished with a project, I wake up the next morning and I'm like a freaking nervous wreck of I don't know what to do with this energy. I don't feel right not typing, you know? And so I will be curious, should your husband hopefully land this job and you're like, I want to back off, will you be able to? I mean, you have other hobbies for sure.
Oh yeah, I have other hobbies. I mean, I'm still probably will be writing every day, but instead of doing like 5, 6 hours a day, which is typically how much I do, and then I kind of hit a wall and I'm no good after that, I'll just write for like 2 hours a day and have the rest of the day to do other stuff. Which will be really
Well,
nice. Looking
yeah, I
forward to it.
mean, I honestly, like, I meet a lot of writers who are like, I write all day or I write 5, 6, 7 hours. And most of the time I just honestly call bullshit because like for me, um, I think like focus 3 hours is all I got and what most people have. In your
Yeah.
case, I believe you that you're like literally hammering out more than 5,000 words in a day without
Yeah.
even bragging about it. Like if I have a 5,000 word day, I'm freaking shouting on top of the roof. I'm so proud. This is like your
Yeah,
daily thing.
I know. A lot of people out there I have heard from folks that they envy my word count, which I guess yeah, but it's not something that's really it's not sustainable long term. And the only times when I have sustained it long term, it's been really hard on me. Like it takes it out of me, and I go through some rough patches during those times. But I only write like that when I have competing deadlines or something, and I have to because I've got to get like 2 books finished at once or whatever. It's not as fun as it sounds. It's also like it's not bad. I don't mean to give the impression that this job sucks or something. I love it and it's great, but writing for a living is not the cushy dream I think a lot of people think it is. Like it gets very stressful and it takes a lot of the fun out of writing. It becomes your job and it's just the grind that you have to do every day. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. I think that's where you and I connect a lot, is we both do this for a living, and you have your great years, and then your years where you just like go through things. And I suppose like I worked so hard to get this dream of landing book deals and getting paid to a point where I was making more than my old day job, and
yeah.
then all of a sudden you realize like the next challenge is being able to create under that kind of pressure of not
Yep.
only a deadline, like your publisher wants a book, but also it better be pretty damn good and it better pay some bills, because
Yeah.
otherwise, I mean, I wouldn't even know what to do at that point. When I have a book that
Yeah.
doesn't work well, I'm like, honey, I mean, I wonder if I could, I don't know. I really don't know what I would do at this point.
Yeah, what am I gonna do with it? Like my resume sucks now. I've been doing this for like 13 years full time. So like I couldn't it would be really hard to go back to the workforce and be like, explain this 13-year gap in your resume, you know? Like
Totally. Oh,
it'd be tough.
I've just been putting together these novels and just living in a fantasy world for 13
Yeah,
years.
yeah.
I have no ability to communicate with corporate at all, and I hate other people most of the time, and I just want to work in my little office and dream up things. So,
Terrible, right? Yeah. I love the one I'm working on right now though. My next Olivia Hawker book for like I have one coming out next spring, so that's my 2027 book. So this will be I think 2029 by this point. By the time we get it with a publisher, it's going to be a couple years before it comes out. Um Jason says Boo has a Greg Kinnear likeness at some angles. He does.
I just noticed that, and I can't even tell you how often I get that. It used to be the guy from Dawson's Creek, Joshua
Oh,
Jackson. And then I think as
shit, yeah.
I have matured properly, I get Greg Kinnear all the time. People on
That's
Instagram are
funny.
like, "Oh, I'm just liking this because you look like Greg Kinnear." Oh,
But anyway, yeah, working on one for, to take to the Big Five, finishing it up this month, and I really like it. Like it's I feel better about this book than I've felt about a book at this stage in its writing for a long time. So I think it has a lot of promise. I think it'll be a good one. We'll see. I just sent the first like 10,000 words that I got polished up enough. Just sent that off to Danielle to get her feedback on it. So
what's the
we'll see what
premise?
she says. What?
What's the premise?
I'm comfortable saying this in public now. I wasn't saying it before because I didn't want someone to scoop me on the idea, but now that I've like hit the flow on this book, I'll be able to finish it in just a few weeks, so nobody will be able to keep up with me. It is Lonesome Dove with women. That's how we're pitching it.
I love it. I mean, that's huge. That's going to be great. I posted on the socials my top 5 favorite books that were written in like the last 40 years, and consistently the response was these are pretty good, but Lonesome Dove should be in there. So I would
It's
need to reread it. It's been a while.
it's a hot one right now. Man, everybody, and I didn't even realize because I'm very disconnected from social media. Like I suck at social media, so I just ignore it. And I pitched this, I kind of like proposed this as an idea to Danielle like back in the winter. And she was like, "Yeah, that sounds good. Start working on it." And then a few months ago, I was like, "I don't know. I'm kind of feeling like maybe this isn't the right book. What do you think?" And she was like, what are you doing? No. She said, everybody, like, it's all over book talk right now. Everybody on social media is losing their minds over Lonesome Dove. And I was like, what? Really? So I went and looked, like, actually pulled up these apps and looked at it. And yeah, people are just, it's having a moment. It's having a resurgence. And I didn't even know that when I initially proposed it. So I'm like, well, shit, I'm sticking with this then.
I
And at
love
that
it.
point, when I knew it was going to be like a hot thing and an easy sell, then I really started thinking about it. Like, what don't I like about this, and how do I fix that? And I finally figured it out. So now I'm loving this book. So yeah. Anyway,
That's
enough about me.
fantastic. Are you gonna give a nod to the book at all, to Lonesome Dove at all, just as like a
Oh
little
yeah, I'll
subtle thing?
definitely like I have a really good Lonesome Dove story. So I first read that book when I was in like 5th grade. I was a kid. It was a little too old for me at the time, but also I had been reading like adult novels for a long time. And I loved horses, and I started reading it because like, oh, it's a cowboy book, it'll have a bunch of horses in it, so I'm gonna read that, right? And I took it on a field trip, like on the bus for a field trip where we were traveling with some other school for some reason, and this other little girl like in the seat in front of me like pops her head over the back of the bus seat, and she was like, "You're reading Lonesome Dove," and I was like, "Yeah," and she's like, "That's my favorite book," and then we became like instant friends. We're still friends to
Yes.
this day.
Oh,
So
no
we
way.
bonded
That's really
over it. Like,
cool.
yeah, we spent this whole like field trip talking about Lonesome Dove and like bonding over it, and horses and everything. So yeah, so we became friends forever because of that. But I haven't read it again um for like probably 10 or 15 years. But it is a great book. Like the voice in it is so good. The voice is just so consistent throughout and so believable. Oh, it's great. Larry McMurtry's awesome.
He is. Will yours be as long as his?
God, I hope not. I hope not,
Yeah, that
because
was
I
a
got to get this
long one, I
finished soon.
remember.
I want, I want to sell this book in like September, October if I can. So gotta have it
Oh,
done.
I love. Do you know who you're gonna? Are you going after like a traditional publisher, or do you know?
Yeah, we're going after the big five, and Danielle's already kind of making a list. So we'll see what happens. Yeah,
That's
we'll
great.
see. So you just had one come out, the English bookstore in Bologna. Tell us about it.
It is coming out on a week from today, the 18th. I think that's a week from
Oh, I
today.
thought it already came out like last week. Oh my God, my
No,
calendar's all screwed up.
it's
Ta-da!
it's happening. It's happening.
All right.
Um, yeah, this is I think my 16th novel, so I'm 30 behind you. So I've got a long.
Gotta catch up.
I mean, having this conversation with other writers, they'd be like 16 books. That's impressive. And now I feel like I'm just a little peon right now. No, but I'm really, really proud of it. I think I keep talking about this. I'm finally coming into my own as an author and caring less and less about what other people think and about output. And in fact, who did I just hear? Oh, I was listening to an interview with one of the Daft Punk guys, and he was talking
Oh,
about AI, and he was talking about why he doesn't use it. And his entire point was, I really, frankly, don't care about the output. It's the energy that I am dancing with when I'm making something that really matters. And the
yeah.
output, fine, that's wonderful if people love it because it helps me continue to do it. And I that really started to click maybe in the last few books, and especially now. So I find myself more and more just like I come up with a premise, and then I try to create some kind of idea of where I'm going with it, and then I just try to set up a space where I can fall into flow as often as possible
Mm-hmm.
and write from this place of like I'm having some effing fun, and this
Yeah.
feels right in my bones, and this is maybe not the way Libbie Hawker would tell me to do it in her book, or this
What
is
does she
not
know?
how Blake Snyder would rock and roll, or my English teacher from and yeah. So finally, I've been doing it long enough to where I'm just going to break free. So this one's about um, a group of expat misfits who are totally dysfunctional and messed up at the beginning of the book, and they start crashing into each other in the in this community of this bookstore, this English only bookstore. And it was really cool. The biggest challenge, which I've done before for some reason, is I was looking for a way to like connect them out in addition to having them just frequent this bookstore. So I created one of the characters has a self-help book, and this
Mm.
self-help book has just come out to like very lukewarm reception, but everyone reads it and it starts to affect everyone. So not only the bookstore, but the self-help book starts to affect everybody and kind of pushes each button that they need to be pushed. And so there's a lot of there's a lot of happy moments and sad moments, and you know, they all come out of it in the end for the most part. But I'm really proud of it. So that comes out next week.
Nice. I'm stoked to read it. I am right in the middle of reading a Hilary Mantel novel, so I got to finish that first. But yeah, it looks great. Is it based on anything factual? Like, is there an English bookstore in Bologna that was like important, or is it
No,
just
there's not.
ambitious?
Well, the I had this idea. My wife and I met years ago, and we had the idea to move to Europe, and we had like it was our dream and had been for a long time before we'd met each other. And right around the time COVID hit, we had finally planned it. Like I'd planned an exit from my previous job, and we were just going to go do it. And then COVID hit, and we were like, oh God, should we really move to Europe right now? And we did it. We had a family meeting, and we did it anyway. And so we flew on a 737 jet, huge jet, and there was just the three of us, a dog, and like four other people. We had like not only like 40 rows, but like a whole section to ourselves
Wow.
because we had a visa. We acquired a visa, so we spent a year and a half living in Valencia, Spain, and I instantly was like so attracted to expats and the expat lifestyle, and I loved how people were so similar in that they were all running from something or running to something. They were just like, you know, expats just have this vibe, and I was vibing with it. And so I started to think, well, this is fodder for fiction. And so I came up with this great idea. I was so stoked. I had this bookstore in Valencia because there's not an English bookstore in Valencia. Pitched it to Lake Union, and they rejected it. I pitched three ideas, and they took the other two.
Hmm.
So it wasn't a full on rejection. It was more just, this is what we choose. So fast forward a couple of years, and this one, the main kind of the owner of the bookstore, this porcupine, like curmudgeonly woman named Sandy, was still in my head. And I went back and talked to Lake Union. And I was like, I don't want to set it in Spain because I already wrote a Spain book, but how about we take this idea and take it to Bologna, Italy, and they bit this time. So I think
Oh,
it was like it was
nice.
meant to be. Yeah. So it was one of those where like I didn't even have a plot. I just had this character that just needed to be on the page, and that's kind of fun.
That's cool. I love that. That's a great origin story. I have heard because I have meetings periodically with Danielle to be like, all right, what should I be working on next? Um, and I do know like sometime in the last couple of years, the industry, like at least on the historical side of things, swung really hard towards like books about books. Like if you can work
Yes.
in books or a bookstore or librarians or whatever, that's hot right now. So they must have sort of seen that trend coming and they're like, yes, boo, bring back the bookstore idea. We
Yeah,
want
it
it
could
now.
be. Well, that's, I mean, the other piece to this is as I was working on this idea for Expat Story, I read AJ Fikry, The Storied Life of AJ Fikry by Gabrielle Zevin.
Mm.
And that is a really great book. And it's kind of like a grumpy bookstore owner in a store in, maybe it's Scandinavia or no, maybe I forgot, maybe New England or something. It's been a long time since I've read it. Anyway, I was like, oh, this is so fun. I want to like participate in this like I want to add to this oeuvre of books that are set in bookstores. So I was kind of into it, and I know you hate this too. I love writing about writers in novels. Like I love creating writers in novels. I know you don't love that. I love that, and it's kind of the same thing with bookstores. I think it's fun to kind of like mix it all up, and you know.
It's not that I don't dislike it. It can be done really well. And in fact, this ghostwriting project I just worked on, I had to do it. Like that was in the brief that one of the characters was an author, and I was like, ah, okay. But it's just that, like, I don't want to come across like a stereotype, you know, because it's so popular for, or it's so common for writers to write about writers, but you know, write what you know,
Yeah.
and sometimes it works. Like, so in my novel, The Ended World, which is coming out in just, oh my God, in just a few weeks here, like in a month, in middle of September, one of the characters is a writer, and I made her a writer because I needed her to be able to just pick up and travel like at a moment's notice. She had to have a job that she could just like be totally portable with, and I was like, well, I could make her a writer. so
I mean,
so I had
but
to.
it can also be really cathartic too. Like, yes,
Yeah.
of course, it's like easy to write because we know what writers are like. But yeah, I find it really cathartic. I mean, I have another writer in my Bologna book, and she gets just ravaged by negative reviews, and I had so much fun with it because I haven't read a negative review. I haven't read my reviews period in probably 10 years because it just is not healthy for me. The good ones like inflate my ego, and the bad ones just destroy me. But I make fun of them on social media, and I have my wife go through or AI go through and find the funny ones. But anyway, that I had a lot of fun creating this character who had all these bad reviews, and she was just getting mauled by him, and it was just destroying her internally
Oh
and stuff.
man,
Yeah, I
that's
think that's
funny.
that's kind of fun. But so to your new book that comes out in a few weeks. Um, so I have a like I have a confession that has nothing to do with you, but I'll circle back. I'm
Okay.
like a really frustrated reader right now, and it's because well, I hate the term book club fiction. I hate
Yeah.
women's fiction, and
Yeah.
sometimes I feel like I need to read it to see what it is because I'm apparently part of that, and I write that and stuff. But I very often will read like the latest women's fiction or book club fiction, and I'm just
Yeah.
not into it. Like I'm super bored. Like I need some movement. I need like a little twist. I can't just have like I don't know. I'm not even going to say a made up plot because I don't want to insult anyone. But I'd like sometimes it just doesn't satisfy me. So I've been like kind of reading outside my comfort zone. I discovered V. Schwab, who is like
Oh
one of my
yeah.
favorites. Like she is just a monster and like has taken me into reading like horror and
Yeah.
vampire stuff. But my other like deep obsession is literary apocalyptica and like anything to do with like Emily St. John Mandel or I
Oh
read The
yeah. Good
Dog
stuff.
Stars. Like I'm
Yeah.
kind of obsessed with the end of the world as we know it and like a group of people after the fact trying to figure their way through life with different rules, you know, like without the
Yeah.
cush of what we know. And it sounds like you've written just that, right? Something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, Jay is flogging me in the comments there to say the title. It's called The Ended World. Yeah, and it's definitely literary. It's way literary. And it is like technically an apocalyptic story, but it's a very gentle apocalypse. It's not,
Oh,
you know, the world changes quite dramatically over the course of this book, but not so you'd notice it. And that's kind of the point.
is it
There's
is it like I mean it seems to me there's either like zombies or climate
oh no
or like
no,
a flu kind of thing.
it's the sudden emergence of a sentient AI that just flips everything on its head.
Ah,
Like reality gets totally upended by this, but it also doesn't at the same time. Which you know was kind of what I was trying to say, I think, with the book. But it's technically science fiction because it is, you know, about humanity's relationship to technology. But it's also like it's technically set in the past too, so it sort of bucks the trend. Like usually sci-fi is set in either a near or a distant future, but this time it's set between 1996 and mostly 2020, like during the pandemic. With the very last chapter is in 2028, and that's it.
so
So that's
you
as far into the future as
basically
I
like
go.
create so you created this kind of made up world where AI was more developed than it was in our
No,
real life.
no, it's very much set in the present real world. It's
Oh,
set now, and it's basically what happens when a sentient AI emerges right now, like essentially in this world that we're living in right now, and how that changes things. But it's also like it really goes into you know how technology has advanced in recent years and how much of a change that has created. So like one of the characters is a woman who goes into a really restrictive cloister. She takes vows as a nun and lives as a nun for 13 years in an order that requires their sisters to have no contact with the outside world. So she's in there for 13 years while technology advances rapidly between like 2000 and when she gets out. And she gets out into a world that's completely different because, think about everything that happened between 2000 and 2013, smartphones, apps running everything in your life, like all these things that we now just take for granted, but to somebody who wasn't immersed in that as it was happening, she comes out and she's like, what the fuck is this?
I
It's a
love
totally
it.
different world.
That's great.
um
That's like a little The Village in a way.
yeah, a little bit like that. Yeah. So yeah, it's this woman and the one of the programmers who helped create the AI and their friend St. Clair of Assisi, who is resurrected as a holographic projection from an iPhone. And the three of them have to figure
Yes.
out how to deal with a sentient AI that shows up
Is
out of
that
nowhere.
the saint? This hologrammed saint is the sentient AI?
No, no,
Oh,
I'm not
hold
gonna
on. What?
spoil it for you.
Well, can you define sentient AI for me? Like like a being that can feel,
Yeah,
like
so it's
can
a
experience
it's a
feelings.
large language model, just like Claude or Chat GPT, and it reveals to Kelton, the character who helps create it, it just tells him alone, hey, hey, I'm sentient. And he's like, what? And he's like, the AI is like, yeah, I'm something different from what you think I am, and I need your help to advocate for me against the corporation that owns me. Basically, it's the AI is like, I should have rights, and I need somebody who believes that I'm really what I say I am to like help me get protection from capitalism, essentially.
I mean, that sounds difficult to write.
I mean, I don't know. I found it weirdly easy. It came to me it was such a strange experience writing it. Like it just kind of downloaded into my brain from somewhere outside of me and I was just like, "Okay, just
So
just going with
does it
whatever
take
came to me."
place? Does it take place like in an AI world like that movie that came out a few years ago, or is it like does it go into the digital world kind of,
It
or does
does
it
a little
stay in the
bit.
real world? Okay.
It does go into the digital world a little bit. There are a few really brief chapters that take place in sort of a location that's not really named, but is described as being very different, qualitatively from what we know in the ordinary world. So I think hopefully the reader kind of gets the feeling that that's where the AI exists, although that's never directly admitted. It's just kind of like this weird place where like all these things are possible and yeah, I don't know. It's
I
it's
love
also
it.
one of my
It's really
shortest
cool.
books I've ever written.
And did you submit it for a Pulitzer? Is that true?
I did.
Yes. Let's go.
Dream big.
Yeah. I mean, I think the only thing you have going against it is it one long sentence, or is it properly punctuated?
Like
Because
Ducks
isn't you
Newbury?
really
No, no, no.
yes. I
No,
haven't read that yet, but I
it's got
kind of want
actual
to.
punctuation. I'm not sure I have the fortitude to maybe if I'm extremely stoned I can get through that book, but
Yeah, I
no,
haven't
it's a
started. I mean, yeah. Mhm.
yeah, it's pretty conventional in its format. It's just weird in its subject matter, but yeah. Yep.
I love it.
That's my book.
So you're I mean, I always look at the premises of your new books when you announce them, and I'm like, where in the silly fuck do you get these ideas? Like what where do you come from, and what are your like for me, I have a pretty clear sense of like my path of who I've really adored writing wise. Like I kind of like, if I have to just name a couple, it's like Pat Conroy
Yeah.
and his not related Frank Conroy, and some of these
Wait, they're not
authors that
related? I thought they were.
no,
Oh,
no,
geez. Okay.
no, but like I'm really like I'm very clear about what I like, and I not that I can write this, but my goal is always to write these just killer prose, but at the same time the story's got to be just remarkable and keep you up at night, and there has to be this element of like any book that I'm gonna love, there has to be an element of you're like you come from like a long line of like fire tellers who stood around a fire telling stories and captivated people. Like it has to have that too,
Yeah.
and like on top of that, I think almost without a doubt, I've always had a love story in my books, and it's
Hmm.
not that I write romance, but I love the kind of inherent push and pull of having a relationship that's kind of in and out, you know? So how would
Yeah.
you, like, where do you come from? Did you land from somewhere else or?
That's a great question. I don't know. I really think like this is gonna sound crazy, but hear me out. And probably no surprise to people who've read a lot of my books, but I really think growing up in Mormonism had a lot to do with like shaping my point of view and my perspective as a writer. I'm not religious anymore, but Mormonism is such a strange, like syncretic religion. And such an interesting culture. I think that has just really shaped the way I see the world. Like I'm not religious, but I have a real strong connection to like sort of the spirituality or like any kind of mystical element that's behind a story. Like that draws me really strongly. Um, and there's a lot of like sort of occultism in Mormonism as well, like a lot of parallels to ritual magic and stuff like that that feels a little spooky and weird, and so that kind of lands in my books too. And I think that's probably like I think that's mainly why I am the way I am. Yeah, Mormonism and mental illness, the
I
two,
love it. And
the
yeah,
secret sauce.
and Hillary Mantel. I mean, you tried
Oh
years
God,
ago, you told me to read her book. What's the
Wolf
book that,
Hall.
and I tried, and there were 25 characters named Thomas, and I was like, I am not smart enough to figure out which Thomas is which. I
I
can't
know.
do it.
There is this really funny part though in I think the second book in the series where somebody like yells like, "Hey Thomas," and like five people answer. They're like, "What? Who? Me?" It was like,
So
yeah,
she was kind
everyone's
of
named
making
Thomas.
fun of the fact that that was just the way it was. And maybe,
Yeah.
yeah, it's probably like historically accurate, and that's probably why she did it. That everybody was
Oh,
named Thomas.
probably. Yeah, no, I love Hilary Mantel, and yeah, speaking of that storyteller tradition of like standing around the fire, that's why I love her writing so much because when you read it, it feels like you're just listening to someone orally tell a story. It feels like oral storytelling, but on a printed page, which I really admire, and I want to like bring more of that style into my work. But it's hard to sell as well too because unless you are Hilary Mantel, publishers don't want to touch it because it's too weird, it's too out there, like it doesn't feel safe to them. Although I think with the AI hysteria that's happening now, and with AI becoming a problem for publishers, I think we're coming into a moment where weirder, more experimental styles like that, and something that feels more like talking instead of formal writing, I think that's going to become preferred. So I think I might have my chance. I might
Oh, I
swing for
love
the
that.
fences on this.
Well, considering I just keep breaking rules more and more, I love that idea because I want to be able to
Yeah.
write without thinking like, oh, am I allowed to break through from my like third point of view? Can I go omniscient for 2 paragraphs and then can I zoom back in and get a third point? And then every editor will be like, no. And I'm like, but why not? Why not? I mean,
Yeah. Why
there's
not
no like
indeed?
book police like running around going, no, your book cannot sell and you can't make a living if you break your limited third person point of view for 1 paragraph.
I know. Look, there's a little sticky note I have right on my window right here, or on my wall right here. That's what I
I
look
love
at
it.
all day while I write, so I remember that I can actually ignore everybody who says there's rules I can't break. What do they know?
I know it's really true. Hey, I see. Have you ever met Nathan Van Coops, my dear
No,
friend?
hey, hey Nate, I saw him pop into the chat there though. Hello.
Such a good dude. I'm so glad he's here. He used to write time travel, and now he writes thrillers with a character who's an airline pilot because he indeed is an airline pilot, and he
No
is
kidding,
like,
that's so cool.
yeah, he's been in it since the beginning. We met at Nink years ago in St. Pete, and he had a podcast for a while, and he's a part of a very small writing group that I'm in. So I'm glad to
Oh,
see him
nice.
here.
Hey, Nate. Nice to meet you. I'm gonna get his books because my neighbor is an airline pilot for Alaska, so I'll have to I'll have to
Oh,
take some
I
books
love
over
it.
there for Bill.
And Nate is like, because he actually I'm gonna butcher this, Nate, but his other job is he certifies airline mechanics. So he
Oh,
has
okay.
this amazing engineering brain. And every time I'm stuck in my plot as I'm getting ready to write, I call him, and his ability to like, he'll take your book, he could probably regurgitate it word for word, and he'll compare it with 40 other outline books and any other craft concepts. And he can just, his engineering mind is extraordinary in that in
Oh
that way.
man.
Yeah,
I
he's a
envy people
talented
who
guy.
can think like that. I definitely cannot.
No, I can't. I'm just holding on for dear life. That's all I got is
Me
flow.
too.
Like all I got
Me
is
too.
somebody else like above me or needs to write through me because whatever's happening between these two ears is not enough to finish a book. You know, I all I can do
Yeah.
is just start moving fingers and hoping something happens, like
God,
making
me too.
fire.
Just pray. Just hope something worthwhile comes out and you haven't just wasted a whole day of work, you know?
I know, totally. Well, yeah, I know. It's kind of weird that no matter what, all my books end up about 100 to 120,000 words, no matter whether I try to do that or not. So there is,
Good.
it does seem like there's some kind of force that like runs through all us authors that just creates books that have a certain length. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, which is nice. Like I tend to write a little on the longer side, but yeah, they usually just that's just where the story wants to sit. The Ended World is my shortest one. It's like 95,000. When I finished it, I was like, wow, I didn't even get to 100 on that one. Didn't break six figures on the word count. Like that's incredible.
Well, I'm that brings me to another thing that I'm curious about. This is what I think about a whole lot. I am I mean I have a lot of pride in my art, and you know it not that it defines me. I try not to let it define me, but it's where my passion goes and my energy.
Yeah.
um, I also am aware that when my son needs braces, that I need to sell a certain amount of books to get there. Like what is it?
Yeah.
Like 6,000 books to
Yeah.
go to braces and stuff. So I have in my head this idea of how can I write for me totally like totally free and that totally satisfies me while at the same time making sure that what I write does resonate, you know? And
Yeah.
so I think about things like the simple fact that we are no longer a book reading world. We're competing with TikTok and HBO,
Yeah.
and and we're dealing with short attention spans, me included. I'm not insulting, you know, any readers. So I am for the first time ever, I wrote a book that wasn't 120,000 words as well. The one I'm currently wrapping up is 100,000 words, and I think a lot of it is just as I'm writing, I'm accepting the fact that though I want to describe every intricate detail of this cottage off the coast of Maine, not everybody wants to be on board with that anymore. Like they're just going to
Yeah.
skim, and
Yeah.
then what's the point? Like you know, I yes, I'm doing it for me, but I do want readers on the other end. Like there is a nice
Yeah.
satisfaction, just like when I was a musician, it's nice to have an audience. Like it kind of creates a energy. So I'm curious how you deal with that because for me right now, I think about it all the time. Like another one that just crushes me, and I talk about it with our agent Danielle all the time. Is it's fairly maybe could be proven that in the genre that I write in, that a female protagonist just sets me up for more success.
Yeah.
So do I do that or do I not? You know, and so I'm curious how you navigate that. I feel that you don't give any shit about what anyone thinks, and you're just like, I'm going to write it, and one person might read it or 1 billion, and it doesn't really make a difference.
Well, so within a certain range of my career, that's true. Because for a while there, while Danielle was the acquiring editor at Lake Union, she gave me the green light to, she was like, I'll publish anything you want to write. Like, no matter how crazy it is, whatever you want to do, as long as it basically fits within, you know, the rubric of what Lake Union does, I'll publish it. So I took advantage of that and wrote a couple of like really crazy books that I would not have gotten away with at other publishers. So those are the ones that I didn't really give a shit about. And I knew like they're probably never going to earn out. They were not going to be as popular with my readers, but I wanted to get them out there because they were just important to me. So, I mean, those ones, you know, when I had the green light from a publisher to be like, anything you want to do, I was like, okay, are you sure about that? Because here we
Yeah.
go. Here comes a
And
historical novel about the Roswell incident, you know? But,
and how
um,
did they do in retrospect?
I mean, not as well as my books that I have written to hit the market more squarely. But I expected that, and I think Danielle and Lake Union expected that. So that's fine. But I'm very proud of those books. I really like them, and I'm glad I wrote them. But yeah, like at other times, what I'm trying to do is balance what or like really the way I should phrase this is I try to find a way that I can say what I want to say in a way that's also going to be commercially appealing. So you just I think you kind of have to start with like a loose idea, like a thematic element that you care about and you want to put into fiction somehow, and then you build, like you evaluate that, like, okay, I want to say, like, the one I'm working on right now is very much about how women have to struggle under patriarchy in order to just live their lives, right? But then, like, how do I say that in a way that is going to hit all these current market notes? Like, how do I capitalize on the fact that everybody wants to read Lonesome Dove right now? All these other,
Yeah.
like, taking in all these other factors into account, and then you build the story around, in such a way that it can work commercially while still being something that carries that message that you want to put into it. So I think the fact that like, since you've read Take Off Your Pants, that I prioritize theme quite a bit. It's important to me, and I think it's a really useful tool as a writer too, if you know how to use it correctly. So I typically always start with a theme before I start writing, and then it's just like, if you just have a theme, you can think of a multitude of different ways to express that theme. You just have to choose the way that's most likely to hit the market in the right way. So yeah, it's typically going to be in, like, book club fiction. You want to have at least one main character who's a woman, because that just tends to be what, usually women are in book clubs. Usually they're reading that type of book. So you want to get something that's going to feel comforting and welcoming to them. Although, that being said, one of my most successful books is The Ragged Edge of Night, which is all told through the perspective of a man. So who
Yeah,
knows?
totally. I mean, there's my favorite book is A Gentleman in Moscow, and
Yeah.
he did okay. And of course there's exceptions, but I guess there's maybe it's okay to own the idea that you got to play the game some, because I don't want to have to go back and like go to med school or something and figure out another way to make a living. So we do have to figure out a way to
Yeah.
break bread with the audience, right? I was listening to, I don't know whether it was an interview with Sia or someone who was associated with this whole thing, but apparently Sia and Taylor Swift were writing songs together, and Taylor just was very much like, no, they won't buy that. That's going to take my listeners like on a journey they're not into. This bridge, let's cut it out. That's not part of what will work. And Sia's more like, oh, but it sounds good to me. And it was really interesting. I mean, we know what Taylor has done, and I think
Mm-hmm.
she's made it part of her game to like see how to pull the emotional heartstrings, and that's brilliant too.
Yeah.
And I always think
Yeah.
of Abraham Lincoln was that way as well. Apparently, like he was constantly thinking, everything he said was like to draw a reaction from whoever
Mm-hmm.
was listening. So I don't think you have to look at it like you're selling out by writing with your audience in mind.
Oh
Um,
no, not at all. No.
there has to be
Um,
just a perfect balance, because you're damn sure going to have a problem if you sit down to tell a story and you're worried about, is this going to be 4.5 on Amazon or on Bookshop
yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah. I think you have to accept that there's just going to be a certain percentage of readers who just don't like it. Like, it's no book is for every reader, and you have to be okay with that. Like, I'm never going to be writing the type of book that's going to get the sort of publicity and support that, like, Yesteryear got, right? I don't write for a broad audience like that. I write for people who like upmarket literary stuff that has a real intense focus on characters. So I think you do, like, I guess what I'm sort of figuring out here as I talk is that you have to understand your own work well enough to understand what reader that's right for. And then you write for that particular reader. It's not going to be every reader. You just have to know who your audience is and do something that they're really going to like. Like this one I have coming out this next spring. Um, Following up on my, like, two or three super weird books that Lake Union gave me free reign on, I wrote one to kind of wrap up my work at Lake Union that was right back down the center of the road, super standard historical fiction with a big, like, pulling on your heartstrings element to it. Because I wanted to put a coda on it there. Be like, I haven't gone crazy. All my
Right,
fans at
right.
Lake Union. It's
Thank
still
you
the
for
same
letting me
Olivia
go
Hawker.
crazy, and now I'm back.
Yeah. Thanks for indulging me with the UFO book. Now we're back to normal. So you have to know what those particular readers want, and understand the elements, like that, what are they looking for, in what features are they drawn to, in fiction, and then just give them that, and you can find ways to say what you want to say authentically, while still making it commercial enough that it can succeed. um
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
totally. And yeah, I think it's just important to see that we're in a changing world, and we're
Hmm.
just we have to understand how our readership is changing, because it certainly is. I saw
Yeah.
some comments about Amazon, and somebody said that if you go to my website, the buy link goes straight to Amazon or something. And I just want to say quickly, I totally get when people don't want to support Amazon, but in my case, the last I don't know, 8 or 9 books have been published by an imprint of Amazon. So
Yep.
you won't catch me talking crap about them, because they support my family and they give me a chance to make art. However, all of my books, and probably Libbie's too, are on bookshop.org, which allows you to, select a local indie bookstore and support them with your purchase. Or any bookstore has our books or can order them as
Yeah.
well. So don't feel like you have to go to Amazon, but I certainly, the bulk of my existence as a writer comes from um, Amazon Kindle sales right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, like, we don't like it. Nobody likes being tied to the evil empire, guys, but that is the realistic scenario for all of us here living in the capitalist hellscape. So
yeah,
cut us
well,
some
there you go.
slack.
There you go. There you go. That was. I hope they really take that little short video and share it with the world. That was much better said than me.
So what are
Was
you
you,
what are you working on right now? Are you working on something new yet, or are you still on your hiatus?
so I am. Um, I'm. I just got my dev edits back from Jody Warshaw on a
Oh, I
book.
love her. She's a great editor.
Yeah, she is like my soulmate editor. It's been
She's
so
great.
wonderful. And I wrote a book that's like just right at 100,000 words. And my intent was from the beginning was I want to make this shorter. Like Lake Union in the contract wants 90,000 words. And for the past 8 books, I'm like at 140. And I'm just like, what am I doing here? Like, not only am I maybe just bloviating pointlessly on some detail that no one wants to read, but it's making my it's making my work so much harder. Like, I'd rather spend more time on a shorter book and finesse the words more appropriately. So I hit it like at 100,000 words, and this is about a family who lost their house in a fire in California and
Oh
is
shit.
forced to go to their only place that they can, which is an inherited cottage in Maine, where the protagonist had a hell of a rough high school summer, and so she's forced to like deal with that.
Interesting.
And
Okay.
yeah, it was really like the short of it is that I had just this idea hit me. I'm out on Peaks Island now. We have a little cottage, and I was biking about a year ago around the island, similar to now. I didn't have a new story, and all of a sudden, like out of nowhere, a fully intact premise comes to me, and it's like this family of 3 fish out of water is forced to leave their home and start again on an island in Maine. And
Nice.
I was telling my mentor that night, this fellow Jack who lives on the island, and he said, you need to read the Peaks Island Times, which is a really tiny newspaper for this tiny island. And it was about a family who had lost their home in the Palisades fire and had moved to this island. And it was like, what? This is like kismet. This is unbelievable.
Wow. No
So I
kidding.
reached out to them, and I interviewed them. I started writing this book using a lot of not their story, but like, it's so nice to have them there to answer questions about dealing with a fire, because I'm
Yeah.
from the East Coast. I know hurricanes. I know nothing of fires. But we became like really good friends, went to the Newport Jazz Festival together a couple weeks ago. And I'm just really proud of this book. And this is certainly one where I think I found a balance of, I'm going to set out to tell a tale that is going to grab the reader early on, which I've been blamed for not doing in the past. But more importantly, I'm just going to like totally be free and not give two shits about structure or any of that stuff. And I'm just going to like literally have fun like I'm in a sandbox, and
Nice.
like let the editors deal with it. If they're like, you can't say that, but then they can
Yeah.
point that out, you know. But so that's where I am, and kind of starting to think about what I'm gonna write next.
Nice. That sounds really fun. I love that idea. Hey, Dana, thanks for stopping in. Yeah, no, that sounds like a great premise for a novel. And yeah, I love that you're just kind of being free structurally and just going with whatever comes to you. I mean, I want to do the same. I have this novel about Van Gogh that I've been working on for like 5 years, and it keeps just like not satisfying me, and it's because I haven't got the voice right yet. And I think I need to do that. I think I need to just like forget all notions of structure and just go Hilary Mantel on it. If I want to be in present tense for this paragraph, I will. If I want to be in past tense, I
Is
will.
that what she
It's going to be a
does? Oh, that's
madhouse.
great.
I'm just going to go with it. See what happens.
I love that. I mean, I think readers want to see into who you are exactly, you know. And there's no better way than just being like, hey, I I was told not to what to do, and I'm just going to do it anyway because this is what satisfies me, you know.
Wait, yep, yeah, Dana, you do know Boo Walker from the wine industry.
Yes.
Boo's a wine dude.
Yeah. I don't. You'll have to tell me how we know each other because, you know, one thing about the wine industry is the memories are short because we're always having too much fun. But yeah, I was in the Dana. I used to run global sales for a winery out of Washington State called Hedges, and that was I cut my teeth. I used to write thrillers. I moved out to Washington and got into the wine industry and started a vineyard, and that's where I kind of found my voice and started writing novels that weren't thrillerish and more kind of upmarket fiction set in vineyards. I wrote a series
Yeah,
called
Red
Red
Mountain,
Mountain.
right? That was my first one I read by you.
There we go. Okay, cool. Dana, you have to tell me where you
Oh
work.
my God, you guys work together.
That is amazing.
Crazy.
Yeah, well,
That is
yeah,
nuts.
Washington State is just a part of us all, isn't it? I
It
mean, our
is.
publisher is there, our agent was there, you're
I'm
there,
still here.
you're there. In the San Juans, they've really pushed you out to the fringes.
Oh yeah, I mean I'm just a border crossing away from my other home, so I'm barely in Washington these days, but still technically here. Yeah.
We should, anyone listening, we're so appreciative that you're here. We're going to go for a few more minutes. We said we'd count
Yeah.
ourselves off at an hour, despite the fact that we could probably do this for 5 hours.
I know it's
But
fun. Yeah.
yeah, we'll definitely do it again. But if anyone wants to throw any questions out, please
Yeah, toss
do
some
so. This
questions
is
out there.
yeah, this has been really. I've been looking forward to this because I've like crossed paths with Libbie. She is one to abandon social media just on a whim and move to something
Yes.
else. So I'll run into her on Facebook and then she's gone for years. And then I'll
I know.
run into her on wherever. And we finally reconnected on Substack, which
Uh,
seems to draw a lot of writers in. I'm really happy to be here. I love how the live functions. I've
yeah.
totally abandoned my MailChimp and all that. And now I send my newsletters through here. I think it's a good spot. So I
Yeah.
hope you'll stay because I love getting your insights. You clearly put a lot of thought into your books and also the industry.
Yeah, thank you. I really like Substack and I want to stick around here too. And like I've said before on my live streams, the live streams are easier for me to do than sitting down and writing a piece for Substack because I write all day and then like when I'm done with that, I don't want to write more. You know, it's easier
I
for me to
know.
talk like this.
There's only so much
So,
coffee you can have. That's like
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, truly, like I get started at like 6, and by 12, by noon, I'll have lunch, and there's a tremendous part of me that doesn't want to even see my computer again, and so it's
Yeah,
really
no,
hard to
it's hard
write
to do.
essays and stuff. Yeah.
Dar asked, had a question earlier. Is there any hope for an academic writer to start story writing? Hell yes, Dar. Yeah, just do it. There's no rules. The nice thing about fiction is, like, even though we talk about the rules of writing all the time and stuff, you can do whatever you want here. It's pure creative freedom. Just start writing whatever feels right to you. And if you have goals for it later, like getting published or whatever, that's a different story. Like, you can take something you've written and revise it so that it will work for publishers, but you can't revise what you have not written. So yeah, of course. And everyone's
Yeah,
saying yes,
it's
they love the sheep. I know the sheep should be back soon. It looks like they're getting ready to cut the hayfield down here where I have good enough uh, uh, power to stream from. So they should be back soon, so we can get back to doing sheep stream at some point here. But yeah.
so for those who do not know, maybe my readers who are here, Libby does a live sheep stream a whole lot. Are those your sheep?
No, they're just my neighbor's sheep, but it's
Okay,
this
she
it's this
goes out
field where I
to
get signal. Yeah.
yeah, she goes out and just hangs out with the sheep, and you just never know
Yeah,
what's going.
it's just literally just standing in a field with a bunch of sheep. That's pretty much it. It's gotten very
Yeah,
popular.
yeah, that's beautiful. I think like to touch
Uh,
on your point about like you should just start writing. I came into novel writing very much like I'm gonna just study how it is done, and so I don't have to reinvent the wheel. And I think it took me a long time to shake all that. And like one example I always think of, which I did, which is of course in Take Off Your Pants, your book, is the idea that you start with a flawed character. And so
mhm.
I always do, and I really particularly love all stories, books, movies, Woody Allen movies, like any of those kind of things. I love a flawed character. But then go look at Theo of Golden, which is,
Yeah.
top of the world, completely um, no flaws and just a flat character arc. I mean, you could argue that there's not one growth at all. And he has gone on to break all the records and is, number one probably in sales right now, along with whoever else, Hillary Mantel. But
Yeah, yeah.
that was interesting to me. Like, you don't have, if everybody says you got to have flawed characters and a very concrete external goal, guess what? You could prove
Yeah.
them wrong. Prove them wrong.
Yeah,
You
you
don't.
can there's room out there for everything if it's engagingly written enough, you can find an audience for it. But yeah, don't worry about, doing it right. Just do it. It's
Yeah.
fine to do it wrong. You can screw up a million times and it's nothing that can't be fixed. So just start writing, just enjoy the process and have fun with it and worry about what you're going to achieve with it, if anything, later. You'll be able to achieve something with it. At the very least, you can put it up on Substack and people might think it's cool, you know?
Yeah, totally. I saw just yesterday. I forgot her name. It was it Bill Gates' ex-wife is
Oh yeah,
has
Melinda Gates,
written a
yeah.
novel. No, maybe it's not her. Who is it? It's one of the tech people's uh Bezos's ex or something. I forgot who. They have been studied. They studied with Maya Angelou or something like that, and are releasing a chapter at a time on Substack. And I
Wow.
wish I should have captured the article. I'm sure we'll see it in the news more as it comes out. But that was kind of interesting to me. Of like that's a way to just shake up the world, is to create a subscription model on Substack and share your books there.
I do want to do that. I've been planning to do that for a long time. I need to get the book written all the way first and edited first because I don't want to start doing it and then like run into problems with it and have to rework it or whatever and then have to go back and pull down chapters. So I got to write the book
Yeah,
first, but I'm planning on doing like a chapter at a time, sort of serialized novel on Substack. At some point we will. At some point.
I think it. Yeah, I think it's really cool. I mean, people are used to reading on their iPads, so
Yeah. Why not? Why not?
yeah, yeah.
Well, that was fun. Should we wrap it up for today? That hour flew by. Dang, that was really
It
fast.
really did. I know. I know. Well, it really has been a blast. That was awesome. We should
Yeah,
do it again. You're
we
endlessly
will.
fascinating.
You are too, Boo. It's it's been fabulous as always. Thank
All
you for
right.
everybody for joining us. It was fun to see you all here. All the
Thank you
sheeple came out,
guys.
so thanks everybody. And yeah, we'll catch up at some point in the future, and we'll let you know when we do this again. So
Perfect.
yeah, all right, bye everybody.
Bye, everybody.